we've got some more news to get to, so let's dig into some downloadable content.
All right, this morning, the first trailer for the upcoming Denis Villeneuve directed Dune movie adaptation dropped. The trailer gives us our first look at the full cast, including Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, a beardless Jason Momoa, Jason Brolin, and Josh Brolin. Sorry, I saw Jason Momoa. Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Oscar Isaac, and so many others. Oh, and there's Arrakis's iconic giant worms. Emma, you're a Dune fan. How spicy did you find the new trailer?
I like that.
Oh, I don't like this asking me how spicy the trailer was. I see what you did there, Taylor. No, I'm freaking stoked about the movie June or Dune, depending on how you pronounce it. My shout out to my dad who says Dune. But no, I do. I love this book. I read it when I was probably 14 or 15 years old. When I was watching Blade Runner 2049 in theaters, about 2 hours and 9 minutes in, I went, man, this is a long movie. But I could watch 9 hours of this happily. And also, I really want Denis Villeneuve to direct Dune.
Right.
So all my dreams are coming true. 2020, give it to me now.
This is like one of those classic, has been done a lot of times incorrectly and has been tried to be made a lot. Dune is one of those movies, similar to like Ender's Game, right? Just carries this cult following behind it. And this version looks to be the best one yet. Thank goodness. I think Denis Villeneuve is one of those really, really top directors that has come out in the past decade or so. So I'm really stoked about this. It looks great.
Yeah. Ooh, and I'm still in love with the font. Anyway, moving on.
Timothy.
And Timothée Chalamet, yes. Look, we're all waiting for Breath of the Wild 2, but in the meantime, can't we just enjoy some hacking and slashing? On Tuesday, Nintendo announced that Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is coming to Switch later this year. Much like its predecessor, it'll be a Dynasty Warriors-style action game, but this time set in the world of Breath of the Wild, 100 years before the events of the game. Now, Matt, will this tide you over until Breath of the Wild 2?
Yeah, I think so. I'm okay with this just being like a hack and slash set the Zelda universe.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with this. Any type of Zelda game, like without like a huge, large gap in between, I'm totally fine with.
Yeah,
definitely.
Just give me some type of Zelda goodness, and this'll hold me over for a bit.
I really love it when other franchises take on the Dynasty Warriors models and like tend to do it better than actual Dynasty Warriors. Like Hyrule Warriors was a lot of fun. Fire Emblem Warriors is a blast, and I'm excited that this is a Dynasty Warriors, but it's also like it is part of the story. This is canon in the Breath of the Wild universe, much like Persona 5, the Phantom Strikers, or I can't remember what the Japanese title is, but it looks like it's being localized as Phantom Strikers. Anyway, I'm all for other franchises taking on Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, Zelda is a massive enough franchise that there are so many more places you can continue to explore that any game within it that is done well will be welcomed for storyline lovers like myself and Zelda.
Yeah,
and it works with the writers too, and the art style is right on it. And not to mention all of these characters that you didn't really get to play much with in the original Breath of the Wild now are here, and you get to use their abilities and kick butt.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Oh my gosh, it looks great.
But the story's gonna be real sad, so prepare yourself.
Well, we all know what happens at
We do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on it. No spoilers. I'm working on it.
Okay, well, with the NFL season kicking off tomorrow night, Colin Kaepernick is back on the field, at least digitally. The former 49ers quarterback who participated in a nonviolent protest against racial injustice in 2016 by kneeling during the U.S. national anthem has not played since the end of that season. As such, he has not been featured in a Madden game since 2016's iteration of said game. Now, his likeness has returned to the long-running football series. Interestingly, he's got an overall rating of 81, putting him in the top 15 of the available quarterbacks in the game. To talk us through why all this, or what all this means for Madden and the NFL as a whole, is the man who broke the story, Aaron Dodson, sports and culture writer for ESPN's The Undefeated. Colin Kaepernick hasn't appeared in a Madden game for 4 years. So, Aaron, what do you think he got added now?
The timing actually doesn't really come as a surprise to me. EA Sports is a strategic statement on behalf of EA Sports to acknowledge that Colin Kaepernick is still and has remained so for the past 4 years. He's still one of the top free agent quarterbacks in football. And it honestly reminds me of a statement that Nike made back in 2018 when they made Kaepernick the face of the Just Do It campaign for the 30-year anniversary.
Right.
And they actually aired the commercial on the night of the season opener. So this is something that EA Sports and Colin Kaepernick and his team have been working on for quite some time, and now it's just finally come to fruition.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that Kaepernick had hands-on in determining his likeness and appearance in the game. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that means?
Most definitely. So according to multiple sources close to the situation, like you said, he was very hands-on in determining his likeness, and that means a couple things. He was very adamant about, when he returned to the game, he wanted to be depicted with his afro. The last time he was in the game in Madden 17, he had cornrows. That was the last time that EA had in him. And he also was very strategic and adamant about having his signature user-controlled celebration, which is new to Madden 21 this year. He wanted it to be a Black Power fist, which is actually, if you think about it, it's reflective of the last time we saw him on the field in 2016 when he was celebrating scoring plays his last season in the NFL. He was celebrating by raising his fist for Black Power. So he wanted that to be reflected in the game. And then to take that a step further, if you notice in the game, there's no NFL branding surrounding Kaepernick until you as a user place him on the team. In the past few years, both Nike and Colin Kaepernick personally have released nondescript jerseys, with his name on the back, and those jerseys are also included in the game to mark his return.
That's fascinating. Now, speaking of jerseys and that sort of side of things, have you heard of any financial details between the game and Colin Kaepernick in terms of what kind of deal was struck?
I have not. Those financial terms were not disclosed to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Cap was rated higher in this game than he last appeared. Here's a brief look at his 2 ratings from the last couple of times. What has the reaction been from NFL fans or even NFL players to this news and possibly being rated higher than him after being out of the league for so long?
Yeah, I think honestly the best way to describe the reaction is mixed. There are a lot of people who have welcomed his return to the game with that 81 rating. There are also a lot of fans and gamers who have kind of questioned not only the return, but also the rating at 81. He's, like you said in the beginning, he is now out of the 111 quarterbacks on the game, he is in the top 15. He's rated higher than the likes of Ryan Tannehill, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton. But if you think about it, the last time he was in the game in Madden 16, which would have been his last full year as a starting quarterback in the NFL, he was also rated at an 81. The 2 games before that, his peak years in the league, he was rated at an 89 in both of those games. So, EA Sports told me, and they announced once they announced the return of Colin to the game, that this is a data-driven simulation that determined his rating for this game, and they took into account that he has not played on the field since 2016, and that is the rating that they landed on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm a big fan. I definitely think he's better than some of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
In terms of, this is a really interesting landmark moment. Colin Kaepernick is such a lightning rod for attention and news. What do you think the overall significance of this is in terms of seeing him back in the game and the statement that it's making?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, a lot of people have followed his journey over the last 4 years. He's been one of the most important stories in sports on and off the field. And in many ways, he's become a hero for a lot of people for social and racial justice in this country. But there's sort of a mystique surrounding his skill on the field. He was a starting quarterback who led his team to the Super Bowl. And now that he returns to the game, Madden allows people, especially the younger generation who might not have seen him on the court, it allows him to experience him on the field in some way virtually as, he awaits, potentially his return to football in real life.
Cool.
Well, only time will tell where Colin Kaepernick's journey continues to go, but we certainly look forward to seeing it. Thank you so much for joining us, Aaron.
Thank you.
Your insight was very helpful here.